Hello YouTube, it's Trust, and welcome to the 9th episode of the Bear Hug Radio. The goal of this podcast is to get to know the coolest people in NFT space. I want to learn from the OGs in the space that add value to the community. I want to know how they got started, their backgrounds, and their experience in the Web3. Listening to these interviews will benefit you greatly. Today's guest on the Bear Hug Radio is none other than Craze. He is the founder of the ATH Lab, a Web3 consulting firm. He is the Coral DAO Alpha Hunter. He has a lot of experience in marketing and Web3, and he's an active member in the OK Bear community. So I took a look at your Twitter, took a look at a few things, and I noticed that you also have a YouTube channel. Talk to me about that, man.
Yeah, so I decided a couple months ago, I think it was around March time, start a YouTube channel just to share my knowledge on NFTs and just share insights on different projects and stuff, do a few challenges, like 1 to 100 soul challenges and stuff like that. But sort of underestimated how hard it would be to run it with everything else I'm doing. Because obviously editing the videos would take hours, so I'd end up having to hire a video editor. Obviously they normally charge a lot as well. So it just ended up becoming too much of a responsibility to be able to stay consistent with it. So I sort of slowed that down a little bit. But no, I've got a few YouTube videos. My YouTube's called Craze NFTs. If anyone wants to check it out, they're not very good videos, but I tried with it for a little while, saw what it would be like, and just realised that it took too much of my time up basically.
You're underestimating you, man. I watched the videos; they were all good.
They're alright. I don't know. It took a while to edit them. The first one I edited on my phone, and I was like, yeah, fuck this, I'm not editing again. It took way too long, so I ended up finding a video editor, but he was charging some crazy rate per video, and it was quite unreliable as well. He'd say he'd get it in by a certain date and then take another 4 days.
I'm curious how much you paid for that.
Yeah, so it depended on the video and how long it was, but it was normally around $150 to $200 per video, which is just yeah, and they weren't I'd get it if it was a 15-20 minute long video, but it was only 5 minutes long. I was paying between $150 and $200, and then also paying for the thumbnail to get made as well, which is probably another $40-50. So it was around $200 to $250 per video. And even though that may not sound like much, if I'm posting 4 a month, that's $1,000 a month just to post videos that aren't getting monetized, and not really benefiting many people because not many people are watching it.
Yeah, no, I was curious. I was gonna ask you about all that, but now I got my answer, I guess, because I've been doing my own thumbnails, my own editing for a bit. Now I have 25 videos out. So at the beginning it was more hey, I'm just getting my name out there, trying to get some subscriptions and stuff like that. But even then, man, it's really tough. I can see you have a good following, but it also helps when you have good videos, good quality videos, and you have a good quality thumbnail also. And I'm still learning. Yeah. Still doing my own thing.
No, your videos are good. I've been watching them. But yeah, it's obviously back in the day, I used to run different social media accounts, and one of them was obviously YouTube. So I used to edit YouTube videos back a couple of years ago. So I sort of knew the basics from that, and I knew how long it would take. But I underestimated how much other work I'd have on top of it, just in NFTs and what I was doing. But yeah, obviously before NFTs and that, I did do some social media marketing and stuff like that. So I sort of understood the basics, I grew a few YouTube channels and stuff, niche YouTube channels and Instagram accounts and different things like that. But yeah, it was a lot of work, and so I ended up sort of giving it up a little bit. But got a few videos up, and one of them I think did quite well. It got a couple thousand views, but nothing crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. My best one was the one I made about OK Bears during the mint time. I was why I'm not selling.
What was it? I haven't seen that one. What was your reason?
Well, you have to watch the video, man. I don't want to. No spoilers.
I watched it after this. Yeah, no, I remember when they first started pumping. I was an idiot. I sold at 10 soul stupidly, but then obviously I bought back. And the reason I sold at 10 soul wasn't because I wasn't bullish on bears. It was because personally from watching NFT projects, and I've been in NFT since August 2021 sort of time, and I'd seen not really many 10,000 supply collections were doing crazy numbers, or at least straight after mint they weren't. Usually they pumped 10 to 50 and then dump. So that was sort of my thesis going into it. But then as I saw them pumping, I was like, surely it's going to stop pumping now, surely. And then obviously all the ETH money started coming in, started pumping like crazy. And I felt so bad. I was like, fuck, why did I sell it? But then obviously I had to buy back into it and love the community. I'm not gonna sell it. So
I know what you mean, man. Like, honestly, it wasn't normal. What happened to the OK Bears was just like, it was crazy. It just started pumping and like it never stopped.
yeah, no, exactly. It was a fucking one of the craziest, probably the craziest thing I've ever seen in Sol NFTs. Because like before that, we'd never seen like a project to reach 200 Sol was like huge, like 200 Sol. I don't even know if the Eagles were at that point at that time. They might have been, but not many projects had hit it. There was obviously Solana Monkey Business, Boryoku Dragons at the time were at that. A few other ones like DCF, a few others, but there were hardly any. And for a project to reach sort of like blue chip status, quote unquote, at that time in that speed was just crazy. And obviously people were saying like, yeah, it sort of bridged the gap from ETH to Sol, which it did to an extent, because obviously a lot of Ethereum investors got into Bears. But yeah, they just did crazy well. And I think it was just the way they resonated with the community. The branding was on point. Everything was on point, pre-mint. We had the engagement, the followers, the branding, the utility was there as well, the community aspect of it. It was the first project to really like build a full-on brand. And I think Kais actually posted like a thread about it, if I'm not mistaken, about the brand meta and stuff, and how OK Bears sort of started up a brand meta. So yeah, they did really well.
How many bears do you hold now?
I only hold one currently. I've liquidated like a lot of NFTs recently. I held a 4-trait bear for a bit, but ended up picking up this one. I'm not going to sell this one, I don't think. I love the community, but eventually I'm probably going to pick up a few more. Just mainly because I am bullish on them long term. I think long term we have a lot of upside, with the IMG deal. And obviously I'm bullish on the team as well, the community builders, Kais and Subi, everyone. So yeah, I'm probably going to end up picking up a few more, depending on obviously how the market is, because I do see a lot of upside in the future.
Yeah, so you think the market is going to go down, and that's why you're going to accumulate after? Is that what your mindset is?
Yeah, exactly. I personally see Bitcoin going to like 15k, maybe even 12.5k. And I've spoken to obviously a lot of investors about it as well, and they've all got a similar sort of sentiment around the market. Some think that it could pump near the end of the year a little bit, but I mean, who knows, to be honest. Like, I can't predict the future, but I think if Sol goes down further, and obviously there's a lot of fear in the market at the moment, especially the NFTs with 0% or optional royalties coming in, because of all that fear. Like, everyone's just dumping, every single project is dumping. So I think potentially going to see some entry points soon myself. But I mean, who knows, to be honest.
So what are your holdings currently?
Holding OK Bears. I'm holding a project called Weeble, but I'm probably not going to hold that for too much longer. And that's about it, to be honest. There's a few other like smaller ones, but I've liquidated a lot recently. Mainly just because of the market conditions. Like, no one really knows where it's going to go from here. A lot of projects are going to go to zero just because of the fact that they're not going to have a sustained revenue stream. One of the reasons why I hold OK Bears is because hopefully IMG brings in that revenue stream, so like having a revenue stream instead of just royalties. And obviously because we made like quite a lot of royalties and mint, we've probably got enough funds to last, I imagine. Obviously I'm not part of a team, so I can't say that for sure, but yeah, that's my thesis around holding bears.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a wise choice. I mean, you gotta hold I don't know. We gotta hold the blue chips, right? That was the popular thing like a few months ago before the bull market. And then like, what is a blue chip right now? Kind of. Yeah. That's the sentiment with everyone's like really, really scared about NFTs right now with the 0% royalties. It's terrifying right now for most people who have their money, and like seeing everything go down, and the negativity on Twitter, and like people not in Discord anymore. So
yeah, 100%. I think the only other project that I'm tempted to pick up soon, I'm not sure if I will yet, but potentially soon, is Solana Monkey Business. I think because I've never been in them before. Met a lot of good people in there. A lot of them are builders. It's run by the community as well. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe they get the royalties from that, or they did before. Monk DAO's obviously really solid. You know, they've got Monk Ventures or Monkey Ventures and all those different parts of it. And they've held their floor price quite well as well. You know, in terms of Solana value, obviously fiat value is going down, but in terms of Solana, they've held around 150 to 200 for months now throughout this whole bear run. They haven't really dipped below 150, I don't think. They may have gone a little bit under at one point. But yeah, that's the only other project I'm potentially going to pick up soon, mainly just because it's run by the community, so there's not really going to be many issues in terms of community FUD, because they're the people who are running it. So it's like they're not going to have issues with the team, and a lot of the community are really successful in their own way. So it's a really solid community. So that's the only other project I'm like thinking of potentially picking up in the future.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because I was talking to Shmoney this week. His video is coming up soon, and we were talking about which communities would you want to go in, and we both like pretty bullish on SMB also. So
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I've never been in them, and ever since I first got into NFTs, I got in around the time they minted, right? So I saw them mint. I didn't mint them. I didn't mint Boryoku either on their stealth launch. I didn't mint any of the big projects basically. Didn't mint DJ Ape Academy. I was a bit stupid about it. Like I'd mint all these. I'd mint probably about 5 projects a day, but I'd miss out on all the big ones. Like I was just being an idiot back then, hoping to chase the next 100x. So yeah, like I saw them run up, and then they went to all-time highs of tens of thousands of dollars, right? And obviously I started networking with some of the people in that community. And a lot of them are like really good friends of mine, like really close friends. I know a load of people in SMBs, and I like every single. Same with OK Bears, sort of. A lot of OK Bears have become really good friends of mine now. Same with SMBs. So I think it's only right that eventually I buy into them. I'm not sure when I will, whether it's in a month or maybe a couple months. But I think I probably will potentially end up buying into them, mainly for the community aspect, because you meet so many builders in there. People call it like the builders community because they're building the community, and a lot of people in there are extremely successful in the space. So it'll just be good to network with them and good for connections, really. Yeah,
I totally agree. Is there any mints that you're looking at recently? Because I see your profile picture is the Monohana.
Monohana, yeah.
Monohana, sorry.
Monohana is a project that my agency and I are working with. We're working them as advisors, just helping them sort of make decisions in the market. So yeah, obviously I'm looking forward to them. Full disclaimer, I am working with them, but I do like the look of them, of course. What else is there really? I think Good Vibrations is dropping day after tomorrow, or tomorrow actually now, Wednesday, 19th, I think, on Soulport. So that's one that could do alright. Mystic Men is dropping soon as well. I've heard that could do alright. I haven't really looked into it, to be honest. But I do like the look of Good Vibrations, to be fair, because they've got obviously a really solid team. However, I think their supply is like 8,888. And obviously with the current market conditions and optional royalties just being out, I think they're going to be one of the first like big mints to happen since then. So I'm interested to see how they actually do. But I mean, who knows, to be honest, who knows how to do.
Yeah, it's always tough, man. It's always tough with the market sentiment right now, and how like bearish the whole NFT mint now is these days. You have to find like the good projects that'll, and even the sustaining. Like we know that everyone knows that it's gonna go down, or everyone thinks that it's gonna go down. That's why people are just shy to even buy nowadays. So that's why it's really tough to mint right now.
Yeah, it's the hardest time it's been, and it's like, it's a flippers market right now. It's always been a flippers market, but it's more than ever now with optional royalties and, obviously instant listing and stuff. I think it's going to play a huge part in the future. I think we'll see the space mature a lot, and I think we're going to see some really cool like innovations, because obviously there's a lot of big builders in the space. They're going to hopefully eventually come up with a solution for 0% royalties or optional royalties. But who knows, to be honest, who knows? I think for now, it's just going to be interesting to see how projects do on mint. I'm interested to see how obviously Good Vibrations do, how a few other mints do, see what the sort of sentiment is around minting at the moment. And I'm also curious to see how projects decide what their mint supply and price will be in the future, because obviously they're not going to be making money off royalties anymore, or anywhere near as much as they would, because 99% of people in the space will pick up like 0% royalties because they want to make the money and it's a flippers market. So I'm curious to see whether projects start upping their mint price or their supply, or how they end up planning on building revenue streams outside of just Web3 royalties. Which is why I think the space will mature quite a lot. You know, a lot of people are going to leave it because everything's dumping. But yeah, who knows, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna have to be creative, and I think that's what's gonna be good about it, because I mean, they're either gonna have to keep like 10% of the project, or either gonna have to put crazy, like, that's what's gonna be tough though, because like, let's say it's a 10 soul mint, you know, because the project needs funds to, because they don't have any revenue. They're gonna have to find revenue from outside. So it's gonna be interesting, because if I mint something that's 10 soul and they rug the next day, it's gonna scare a lot of people out, you know, like.
Yeah, I think we are going to see a lot of rugs, you know, even more slow rugs as well, because like realistically with founders, most founders, especially now, you know, founders who have got projects out and have minted, they're not really going to have much incentive to continue like building their projects or continue working as hard as they are, because they haven't really got revenue streams unless they build something like outside of Web3 or outside of the royalties revenue, like Airs are doing, and a few other projects are doing. Then I don't really see many projects surviving through this, to be honest. I think a lot of projects are going to go to zero, a lot will slow rug. We're going to see a lot of founders sort of put in a lot less work than they're doing at the moment. So it's scary times, really. That's why I've sort of liquidated a lot at the moment. Mainly due to that, really. Like, as soon as Magic Eden came out with that announcement, and it was predictable, you know, it was predictable for months. We always knew it was going to happen ever since Coral Cube and a few other marketplaces came out. Magic Eden want to obviously stay up there with the other marketplaces, and to do that, this was their solution, really.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the 0% royalties, but I think we pretty much answered that.
Weird, because I see why Magic Eden would do it. Like, I do see why they do it. You know, obviously they want to keep their market share and everything, but then at the same time, it's really bad for creators, really bad for founders, but then it's good for people who want to like quick flip. But then at the same time, it's really bad for people who want to diamond hand, because a lot of people are just going to be quick flipping their projects. We've seen a lot of watch trading go on recently as well. Like, a lot of projects have just been constantly getting like 60-70 soul sales from the same person on their NFT over and over, just to put them in the popular collections. So yeah, it's a weird situation, to be honest. I don't really know what I think about it, to be honest. I think I'll sort of have more of a solidified opinion in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, because I think I'm privy to builders, right? So Dreams put out a really nice text about like why Magic Eden kind of did that, and the sentiment towards everything, the NFTs in general. You know, how the NFTs are seen as risky and because of like the world economy and stuff like that. And Magic Eden losing, like, they were basically 90%, if not more, of the market, and then they were pretty much at 50%, so they had to do something. Which is not good for NFTs in general, but in general, people weren't investing anyways. So they had to do something to get people just interested in flipping or whatever, you know?
Exactly, yeah, you know, volume was at like an all-time low. Obviously, macro market conditions are really bad at the moment. Like, the pound is trading like a shit coin. It's going like down 2% every day. Basically all currencies are just trading like a shit coin at the moment. You know, we're in a recession, nothing's really going too well. So like, there's a lot of fear, but I think these times are where you can sort of look for opportunities. And obviously my plan in this bear market is to prepare now as much as I can. You know, I'm learning how to day trade. I've been doing that for around like 6-7 months now. I've got a trading mentor as well, so I've been learning that for the next bull run. So yeah, my plan throughout these market conditions is to just prepare for the next bull run, and I recommend that to everyone. Just stop looking at getting the bag, stop chasing the bag, and start chasing like the knowledge to make that bag. And this is the perfect time to do that. It's the perfect opportunity. Everything's on sale, and everything's sort of slowed down a little bit, so you have a chance to learn. Because I got into crypto properly around the start of the bull market, right? So I got in start of 2021, so around 2 years ago. And at that time I was just sort of learning the basics of it. just learning what blockchains were, learning why Bitcoin was so valuable and all this different stuff. And then I fully took it seriously around summer of 2021, so around June, July time. And that was around like the bull run, right? So I didn't really have much time to sort of learn what I should be getting into, how I should be making money. So I didn't really make the most of the bull run. And obviously by the time I got half decent in crypto and started understanding it more and started being profitable, it was the end of the bull run. So yeah, I'm just trying to utilize the bear market and just learn as much as I can now, so that when the next bull run comes around, like I'm as prepared as possible, basically.
Yeah, no, definitely. What did you see though? I saw your video, and then I saw your calls, and then like, what were you looking at when you looked at an NFT? Like, what was like, can you put me through your thought process and what you were looking at, and why you invested in certain projects and not others? Because I know, like, for me personally, I was like you at the beginning. I missed out on all the good mints. The best one was, of course, the OK Bear one. But before, like, I'm like, this project looks amazing. Founders, docs, everything's good. And then the other project was like a total opposite. And then, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 100%. I think it's a good question. I think it just depended on the time it was. Like before 10K collections were starting to do well. The meta was like sort of really small collections. Any collection under 1,000 supply with a lot of hype would do well. And then obviously OK Bears came around and changed that completely. So yeah, obviously I'd look at the meta at the time, so I'd see what was doing well, like what projects were doing well. I'd look at the art, because obviously art has a meta in itself. At one point it was pixelated art, and then at one point it was like sort of brand art, like OK Bears sort of art. And it changed around really a lot. I'd look at obviously the team, what they doxed, who were they, what experience did they have in the space. What else would I look at? I'd look at obviously the roadmap and the utility. Is that actual utility? Is it unique? Is there some sort of like innovation that's going to help the space out? Is there like profit share or revenue share or anything like that? Like what's the reason for people? Like, why would people want to hold? Like, do the holders get any benefits? What else would I look at? Obviously the supply and mint price was really important. Like, if you could sort of tell if it was a cash grab, like if it just had like 10,000 supply at $300 mint price and it had like no followers, then you could tell that it wasn't going to do well. So yeah, I'd look at the supply and mint price and sort of figure out why they need that money. Like, I'd look into their roadmap and see whether they actually need those funds or they're just looking to get a quick cash grab. Also obviously look at the hype as well. The hype was probably the most important thing to look at. Like, there were projects that I'd mint without even doing any research on it, just because they had the hype and I heard a lot of people talking about them. So it was just around like the sentiment of the project and what people were thinking about it. There were a few projects, like I think one was like Zenjin Vipers, which just had a whole ton of hype around it, because of the pixel art, because of the website, and I ended up minting that. Sold it near the top, which was good. That was an example of one that I didn't really do too much research into, and at that time as well, a lot of the projects weren't releasing their utility until post mint, so that you couldn't really do too much research on them, which is why I'd quick flip most of the projects. There were a few that I held, like Community 3, and a few others that I held for a little bit, but for the most part, especially the projects that didn't really release their utility pre-mint, I'd look for the quick flip, and the way I'd get that is through hype, obviously, because hype builds that volume.
But it was tough during the time though, because then there was a lot of botted followers at one point, or just like everything, it was a giveaway on Twitter. So basically, they grew kind of like even Triple A grew to like 250K, which is like crazy, and that's why right from the beginning it was at like 70 soul and stuff like that. But I think that was just the mint meta. I think everything was gold.
Yeah, that was crazy. That it was like a month straight of just everything that would sell out and had like 100K followers would do well. They'd all bot their followers and they'd sell out instantly, 10,000 supply. It was just really crazy. Like, people were just cash grabbing here and there. People were making quick flips off it. There was a lot of volume. There was a lot of hype in the ecosystem. After obviously the recent success of OK Bears. So yeah, it was like at that time, obviously, I was making the most of it, minting all these projects that had a lot of hype, and just sort of quick flipping them. because I didn't like 99% of these projects I didn't really want to hold long term, because a lot of them were just quick cash grabs or didn't really have any utility, or like weren't unique in any way. A lot of them did obviously the whitelist giveaway meta, where they just constantly spam whitelist giveaways with big projects and just grow like that, and they'd all do collaborations together. So yeah, I think since then obviously the market's matured a lot more. You know, it's a lot harder to market projects at the moment. You know, obviously in my agency, one of the things we do is we help out with marketing, and we've noticed a huge shift in the sort of like marketing meta at the moment. It's a lot harder to sell out a project, and it's a lot harder to market a project and build that sort of engagement and those eyes and that attention towards your project now, and it's a lot harder than it is now than it ever was before. So yeah.
Can you talk to us about your project, basically the ATH Labs? For those people who don't know what it is, can you kind of like explain what it is and what you guys are working on?
Yeah, for sure. So I founded ATH Labs at the start of August. We released to the public, but I've been working on it since around February time, on and off. So we're a marketing, advisory and consultation agency. We specialise in NFT projects on Solana. However, we don't limit ourselves to any Web3 project. We've worked with multiple projects in the past, sold a lot out. A lot have been under NDA, so I can't obviously disclose a lot of them. But for example, one of our lead advisors is called Arj. He's one of our like blockchain consultants, and a lot of you may know him. He's in Bears. He holds a Coral Bear. He sold out his project called Cozy Koalas, 3,333 supply. He sold it out with zero marketing budget. So that's an example. And then we've got Wake as well, who's our chief brand officer, probably one of the best, if not the best, branding copyright expert in the space at the moment. So if you guys ever need any sort of like branding or copy work done, reach out to Wake. He's insane at it. And yeah, we're looking to scale at the moment. We're looking to get on a few more advisors and build a second team. So yeah, that's what we're doing. If anyone listening to this is an advisor or has experience advising or marketing for successful projects in the past, make sure to reach out to me on Discord or Twitter.
Yeah, definitely. I know that Arj and Wake are both really active in the Bears community. Really cool guys too, and they're always there to help, man. They're always talking, always helping people out. I didn't even know they worked for ATH Labs, to be honest.
Yeah, man, we're lucky. Yeah, we're lucky to have like such a good team, you know. And it's good as well because Wake and I are both from England, right? So we've got British time zone, and then Arj is from America. So we're basically up like 24/7. Someone's going to be up. So whenever a client has like an issue with their projects or want our advice, someone's always going to be there to help them out. So it's a good sort of dynamic that we have, and we all work really well together. And yeah, just excited for the future of it, really.
Do you guys have an NFT out?
No, we don't, and we're actually not planning on releasing an NFT anytime soon. We just don't feel the need for it, to be honest. You know, we couldn't really provide too much utility for it at the moment. Obviously, that could change in the future. However, right now, we don't need to release an NFT. There's no reason to. We just prefer helping other people out with their NFT projects and helping them obviously launch successfully and reach their KPIs and do what they want to do, really. Because obviously a lot of people, even if you're in Web3, especially people who are listening to this who are founders, you know that it's like a lot harder than people expect to release a project, and it's a lot harder to sell it out and launch successfully and, you know, run it. It's long days, you know, 8-hour days, especially at the start, 8-10-hour days, sleepless nights. So yeah, we sort of strive to like ease the pressure off founders and teams pre-launch by obviously inputting our help, giving them advice, you know, helping them with marketing, building their marketing plans, and different initiatives and campaigns, and yeah, we just try and make it as simple as possible for everyone.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you're full-time in Web3?
Yes, I am. So I've worked 2 jobs in Web2 and got kicked out of both of them. One of them was a pizza delivery job. I worked 2 shifts there, and the second shift I didn't notice I had corona, and I went in and I was ill, and I did a corona test and it was negative, and then the next day it came back positive. And I told the manager, and he just went crazy at me and ended up kicking me out. Even though I didn't know I had corona, he just went crazy. And the other one was a job at a cafe. I worked that for like 3 shifts. It was one of my best friend's mum's cafes, and I just got really bored of it. So I started like saying I was ill all the time, and then she ended up firing me. Also dropped out of school as well. Just wasn't for me. You know, I had some personal stuff going on as well that I needed to sort out. So ended up just dropping out of school with no like income source or anything, which is a very stupid idea. Anyone who's in school that's listening to this, don't do that. It's a stupid idea. So yeah, I just grinded on Web3, ended up, you know, started making a little bit of money, and sort of found my place in Web3 now.
Yeah, it's cool, man. If you don't mind, I'm curious to know how old you are, if you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm 18 years old. And yeah, I got into Web3 at 17, you know, when I was start of January. Before Web3, I did a few things. Obviously, like I said, I'd grow social media accounts and sell them on for profit. I've also boxed my whole life as well. I'm a boxer. I boxed for like 10 years now. Absolutely love it, and it's just sort of helped me like build discipline and dedication. But yeah, anyways, I ran an SMMA, which is a social media marketing agency, back in the day when I was like 16, and I used to just help like influencers like build initiatives and promote their campaigns and upcoming drops and stuff. And then I ran e-commerce stores for a bit. I ran 5, and not a single one of them was profitable. And then the 6th one started becoming profitable. And for it to be profitable, I had to sell my PlayStation. You know, I don't know if you're into like PS5 or anything. Yeah, man, like, I had to. I sold my PS. Yeah, I know. I sold my PS5, brand new, just to be able to fund the advertisements because I saw it doing well. And then because I was 17 at the time, I think they clocked on because I sent in a fake ID, and they clocked on like straight away, and they shut down my store. So all that ad spent had just been thrown down the drain. So I wasted like probably about $700 on ads. And then yeah, I met a mentor, got into Web3, and you know, here I am now.
That's really cool, man. I mean, yeah. So to be honest, like. My crypto journey started by me selling a few things also. So
yeah.
The thing is, like, I'm at a completely different stage in my life. Like, I'm like putting all my money aside to save up for buying a house.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah. I'm actually looking to move out soon myself. I'm looking to move abroad. There's a few places I'm thinking of possibly Dubai.
Wow.
Obviously, it is quite expensive to live out there. So, I mean, who knows, to be honest. I'll see how it is next year. I'm not in any rush, you know. I'm living with my mum at the moment. And I'm really lucky, you know, I haven't got many expenses. You know, I pay rent, and I pay for like my car insurance, and I pay for food and stuff. But apart from that, like, not really too worried about, you know, financial position at the moment. So I'm quite lucky.
Yeah, no, it does help. I mean, if I started young, like in crypto and everything, and I didn't have anything to pay, you know, except for my car, my rent and stuff, like. Now, like, there's so many things, there's so many people that depend on me that I can't just be like, hey, I'll put my paycheck into OK Bears because I know it's gonna pump in the next few weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing. Like, yeah, I'm really lucky. You know, eventually, obviously, I want to like retire my mum. Like, I've got long-term goals of like buying my mum a house and stuff like that. But for now, like, I haven't really got too bad of expenses at the moment. You know, monthly expenses are quite low. So I can sort of just keep doing what I'm doing and not have to worry. I'm really lucky, so yeah, I'm just continuing to sort of like try to find my place in the space and build up what I'm doing.
Have you met in like in the Web3? Do you feel like ageism and stuff like that? People like treat you different after they know how old you are?
Yeah, definitely. That's the thing, because at the start I thought people would treat me like fine, but you know, obviously when I'm speaking to people, I've got quite a low voice, so people sort of think that I'm over 18. And a lot of people have said, you're not 18. I'm like, yeah, I am. But I have noticed that quite a bit. You know, people will, as soon as you say you're 18, they'll come back and be like, oh, what, you're 18? And then they just won't take you seriously. Because obviously it shows that you haven't got as much experience, and people could think quite immature. But I think the people that have sort of got to know me a bit better have sort of realised that I'm not sort of like that typical 18-year-old who's going to go out partying and stuff. I haven't partied in like 3 years. Haven't smoked or drunk in about two or 3 years, because it's not really for me. So yeah, I think to an extent, yeah, like there is sort of like ageism, you know, especially being this young. You know, a lot of people in the space are like 30, 40, 50 years old, and they'll look at me like a newbie, like a beginner or whatever. But I think you can sort of counteract that with results. You know, like as I continue to build what I'm building, people hopefully start taking me a bit more seriously. And yeah, like obviously people that I know personally and know quite well don't really like speak to me any differently. You know, like I lead a team of people who are like a lot older than me, and I think yeah, they respect me as much as I respect them. So yeah, it just depends on who you meet really and what they think of you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like just sentiment, right? You think about like in sports, right? People that are young are usually like, we tend to like younger guys coming in. Like, for example, in the NFL, right? The running backs, they after a few years, they're like over, you know? When we think about technology and stuff, we often say that the old guys, they don't know technology, you know? Where I kind of see the advantage of being older, you know, like wiser, let's just say, is like running a project, you know, like if someone has been running a business for the past 10, 15 years, know what to do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas,
exactly.
yeah, so
Exactly,
like,
yeah, it's like, I think to an extent, you know, people are going to trust people who are older, so they're going to think, yeah, he's got more experience. And then, you know, especially if I go to someone and say, yeah, I'm 18 years old, they're going to think, oh, he's still a little kid or whatever. But you know, like, I'm 19 in a few weeks anyways, but I've always found myself wishing I was like almost like older, just for the space, just so like people would sort of take me more seriously. Like obviously I've had a lot of people take me seriously, but at the same time there is sort of that idea that, you know, 18-year-olds are like just go out partying, go out raving, don't really know too much. But I think, you know, a lot of the people in crypto are young. So I think like older people are starting to respect that more to an extent. You know, there are young people. There's like, what's his name? Carl Brunfeld. He's like 22, 23, and he owns a Bugatti Veyron, and he's made that through crypto. And there's many like 17, 18, 19-year-olds who've made multiple millions through crypto. So I think as sort of more like younger leaders come out, the more people like sort of my age and maybe in their early 20s will start to get respected a bit more.
well, the best example is Frank, man.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Frank's, how old is he again? Like 23, 24?
I think he's close to 22, 24. To me, he's a bit young, you know, but like for you, like he's a bit older. So he's like, he's not really young, but I mean, to think of like a guy running a $1 million company, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just crazy, you know, like that's why, you know, like when the Balloonsville came out, they were doxing themselves as 16 and 17, you know, like, and people were ready to give all their money. And even the Balloonsville rugger is actually a 17-year-old guy who rugged multiple. Like we can say all the bad things about him, well deserved, but this guy is really smart, man.
Yeah. There's no denying that he's smart. You know, he knows how to market projects. He actually rugged a project today.
Seriously?
Like mad scientist, I think. Yeah, he was marketing it as this like redemption and stuff, and everyone was getting all hyped because like obviously he built up Reptilian Renegades, Balloonville. So obviously he's got that talent there. Like he knows what he's doing in terms of marketing projects, in terms of running them. And everyone believed him, you know, everyone started. And the way you got whitelist was by buying one of the NFTs that he had rugged in the past, and then you'd get whitelist for it. So you'd have to buy a rugged NFT to mint an NFT that ended up rugging, like which was founded by a rugger who had told everyone beforehand that he was a rugger. And for some reason everyone believed it, you know. And like, it just blew my mind. Like it was so obvious that it was gonna rug, like literally I think it was a couple hours after they minted, they just suddenly dumped, and he deleted the Discord, deleted his Discord, and rugged it. But it was obvious. Like some people just need to realise that someone who's rugging you shouldn't trust, and I think people just had like too much trust in him. You know, because obviously a lot of people in the space are degens, and especially now they're like seeking sort of quick flips. And they thought that would be the next one, just because he's run like successful projects in the past until he rugged them. And he's done well in the space, you know, like there's no doubting that he's like clever, young. I think he's around like from around London as well, so like nearby me. And he dropped out of school from what he was saying on some Twitter space. So yeah, there's no doubting that he's clever, but it was obvious what he was going to do from the start. Like he's done this multiple times before. I think he's rugged like 5 or 6 projects now.
Yeah, if not more.
Do you know what I find crazy though? Like imagine what his parents must think. Like he's like 17 years old, probably still living with his parents, right? And just suddenly out of nowhere, he gets like millions of dollars come into his Binance or whatever he's using to store his crypto, and then he starts buying all these fancy clothes and shit. Like his parents must like either be in on it, or he must just like live by himself. Like it must be one of the two.
Well, the kid's smart. I mean, I don't think he would pull out everything like that. I think he put it through a few accounts, put it through a Cayman somewhere, hired a really expensive tax guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if he has millions of dollars somewhere, and like if you pull it out, they know your identity and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm sure he's cautious. You know what I mean? And if he is, he probably has a nice place somewhere.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think I was in the Twitter space a few months ago when he rugged, I think it was Balloonsville, and like all the sort of like leaders of the space, quote unquote, were saying that they knew his identity and it had been sent to like the officials and stuff, but obviously they can't really do much about it because it's decentralized, it's Web3, there's no regulations around it. But apparently they did actually manage to figure out who he was from what I heard, if I'm remembering correctly. But I remember when he also like fake doxed and got someone else's identity. And that guy got like spammed with calls and stuff. Like I just feel bad for that guy who got fake doxed, because like he could have got like seriously like injured or something by people just showing up at his house because people found his address and stuff. So
yeah, it was crazy. You have to watch the 2 SMBs that do a podcast, and they had him on the podcast because I watch everything on Solana, everything that's on Solana I just watch, and I thought those like I think it's what are the 2 guys, 2 SMBs,
Solana Legend and Ice Knife, I think.
Exactly, and they had a podcast going on, and it was really interesting to hear him talk about what he was doing and what he did, and it's super interesting. Like it catches my attention because I'm like, he took the guys, like he put on an accent and everything.
Yeah, and I heard about that.
It just goes to show. Sorry, it just goes to show that some projects, they just want the money and stuff, and he was paying. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it was Hydra, wasn't it? He like faked the Hydra. He put on a foreign accent or something, and they just believed it and went along with it. And then previously to that, he got some like 16, 17-year-old actors to fake docs about Balloonsville. And then it's just crazy, like. And then people actually trusted him with another project. I was astounded. I was like, how can you trust this guy? Like, and he just, I don't know, he seems like really messed up, like the way he like portrays himself to the space. He's like, I am Batman and stuff. Like he calls himself Batman and stuff, and it's like, bro, you're just a rugger, like relax. Some crazy guys like, I'm gonna come and save the space, and it's like, no, you're not, you're gonna come rug another project.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Anyways, I'm just curious, so you started working with Parker on the talk to me about the experience. Tell me how you enjoy doing this, because I helped out in the first one, but I was rugging the whole time, and I think
no, I was rugging last space as well. Like, I know how you feel. Like it's not a space unless at least one person rugs in it. I spoke to Parker like once or twice beforehand on a space, not on a space, or on a Discord VC. He just seemed like a really nice guy. I joined his from the bare bottom, heard his story. His story was like incredible, like really inspiring to me. Like, I was sat there the whole time, like just completely indulged in it. Like, and I think it inspired a lot of people as well. I loved it, and I can see why a lot of other people would want to listen in as well. So we were just speaking on a Discord voice chat, and I was like, if you ever need help with it, just let me know. And he was like, yeah, we'd definitely love to get a few more people involved. So I was like, yeah, sure, I'll help like marketing it a little bit. I'll do the graphics for you and stuff. So yeah, we just started working together from there, and we've done a few ones since. We've done I think like 2 or 3 now. And yeah, they've been the most recent one was DLN, and that was really inspiring as well. Like, everyone's stories is really inspiring. You know, I always find it really interesting listening to people's stories. You know, people who came into Web3, because obviously most people are anonymous, right? So you have no idea what they do for a living, and just hearing like everyone's different backgrounds and what they do, it's cool, and you can learn something from everyone, right? Like everyone who comes in, you can learn at least one thing from. And I think a lot of people would really enjoy those spaces, which is why we're trying to obviously grow the name out there from the bare bottom. So if anyone listening here wants to join it, basically just a space that we do every week on Sunday usually, and yeah, we just get people from OK Bears community to come in and just explain their story to people, and it's just really inspiring to hear everyone's different stories, because everyone's got completely different stories, you know, and it's nice to sort of put a background to the voice that you speak to.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I do this podcast, basically. Get to know people, man. Get to know people, and especially in OK Bears, you know, like I'm really into the community, and like getting to know these cool guys and cool people, like it's really awesome. Like I like we can talk in the VC, but when you're talking one-on-one and like asking these like questions and stuff and getting to know each other on one-on-one basis is like it's priceless in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. And it's like, I've never really had like a community in NFTs that I've really sort of resonated with and been in a lot and been active in, and not felt sort of like I've been doing it because I have to. And that's what OK Bears is like for me. I can literally just sit in there and chill, and I've made a lot of good mates in there, which is why I'm like really passionate about OK Bears and everyone in there. So I just wanted to help out with one of their initiatives that they're doing with from the bare bottom. It's been a lot of fun, really, just hearing everyone's stories, and the voice chat's really chilled out too. So yeah, this is the first NFT that I've actually felt like properly part of a community of, and the first one I've actually held for a long time, mainly because of the community and the people that I've met in there.
Yeah, definitely. I have the same sentiment, because I've been holding a lot of different projects, and I'm still holding, just mainly because they have no value right now, and I'm like, if I sell them right now, it's like it's not worth it, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe wait for the bull market to come back, but I'm like, I'm in the chat and I never really know what to say, or it's just like hi, bye, hello, what are you doing, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Bears is completely different, man. We hop in the VC and there's always someone talking. There's always interesting topics and stuff. And
Yeah.
people helping each other out and stuff with their projects. Yeah, like
I
alpha.
completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. I think obviously the opportunities in there are crazy. The networking is crazy, but then it's also just like you can meet a lot of friends. And I think one of the reasons that I really resonated with Bears is because I knew a lot of Bears initially, and like before getting into it, and just getting into it, everyone helped me like get introduced to everyone, and everyone in Bears is really friendly. I've never had a problem with any Bears, like not a single one. And I can't really say the same about that for many other communities. You know, some have like their own like occasional person that you don't really like or isn't really respected in the space. But Bears is different. You know, Bears, you'll come in and everyone will be extremely friendly. As soon as you join, everyone will welcome you, and like in the voice chat and stuff, and you can talk about anything in the voice chat really. And this is sort of what I was looking for before I was getting into Bears. You know, just speaking to people. You know, like obviously everyone in Bears is clearly successful to be able to hold like an NFT like Bears. And a lot of them are holding it just for the community, so it's like just being able to meet them and like make new friends and stuff. It's been like a really good experience for me.
Yeah, definitely. Who did you know before coming into the Bears?
Yeah, so there was Arjun Wait. I knew a few others here and there, you know, like I've been in spaces with them before. I knew a few like people just from different like groups that I'm in as well. But yeah, it was mainly like Arjun Wait that helped me sort of get introduced to people. Laser as well, I knew beforehand. A few other Coral DAO Bears as well, because I actually worked for like Coral DAO for a bit, just as a community manager. It was just like voluntary work just to build my network basically, and I knew a lot of them through there, so a lot of them obviously helped me get introduced to people in Bears. And yeah, I think that helped me a lot, you know, get into Bears. Just, you know, obviously Bears is quite a big community, right? I think there's like around 5,000 to 6,000 unique holders, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of people, but obviously there's a few people that will speak in voice chats every day, and you can get to know them really easily. And they'll introduce you to everyone really, and that's what helped me out.
Yeah, talk to me about the Coral DAO. I saw that on your Twitter. I was curious because I didn't think you hold a Coral DAO. Did they invite you in and stuff like that, or
Yeah, so that's how I actually met Arj. What I did was I was friends with NF Thinks, who at the time was in Coral DAO. I think he was one of the co-founders. I don't think he's in it anymore, but he was at the time. And I was friends with him. We were on a Twitter space just talking. And then Arj came in and was like, yeah, we're looking for a community manager for Coral DAO. And I was like, oh shit, this is the perfect opportunity for me. So I messaged Arj, and obviously NF Thinks put in a good word for me because I'm friends with him. And just went from there really. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. He was like, what do you expect in return? What commission do you expect? I was like, I don't expect any Solana or anything like that. I just want to do it to build my network. So I did sort of voluntary free work, got them a few whitelist spots and stuff, and just got to network with them. And I think free work is something that people underestimate how powerful it is. I think obviously a lot of people will use you for free work, but then if you can find someone where free work will get you something in return, so a good network or advice on different stuff that you're doing, it's definitely worth it in the long run. Because obviously experience is the best way to learn, in my opinion. And just getting that experience and building that network was extremely helpful. So yeah, I'd say just definitely a thing that I learned from Coral DAO was how powerful free work is, just offering free work. I think be really careful who you're offering free work to, because you don't want to just be taken advantage of. But if you're getting something in return for that, so a network or advice on different stuff that you're doing, or even a mentor, it can definitely be beneficial. One of the things that I did was I got a mentor, and I did free work for him in return for his mentorship, and that helped me a ton. If it weren't for him, I would be nowhere near where I am now in Web3 and crypto. I would have probably left Solana NFTs a long time ago. So
yeah, definitely. Is it still rocking the Coral DAO? Are people still very active every day?
Yeah, so I think they're active in the Twitter group chat, right? And I'm not in that, I'm only in the Discord. So I basically I'm sort of a collab manager, and then I sort of just help out running different initiatives that they're building. So I can't really talk on the Twitter group chat because that's where everyone speaks. In the Discord, it's not active because it's literally just used for whitelists and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, everyone's just active in the Twitter group chat. But I've heard a few things about it, and I think it is still really active. There's a lot of really nice holders in there. I was actually thinking of buying one a couple of weeks ago. I think someone's actually selling one for quite cheap at the moment, a really clean one. So I'm still eyeing that up. I'm not sure if I will, just because of the current state of the market. I'll probably wait a little bit, but potentially could see myself in Coral DAO soon, but who knows.
Yeah, the Coral DAO is the hottest one in the bears, and it's the cleanest, coolest one, but it's just out of my price range, right?
Yeah. It's not cheap at all. Another one that I really like is Lo-Fi. I think full trait Lo-Fi bears looks so clean, man. It's my favorite trait. I think it looks so good.
No, definitely. I'm an Andean guy. That's my bear.
Yeah, I had a full trait Andean for a while. I liquidated it recently just because I needed some liquidity, and I bought this bear instead. But yeah, my full trait Andean was really nice, man. I loved it. I think they're one of the cleanest bears as well. If you can get a good background with them, it looks really good.
Yeah, so I'm just curious to know if you're any other alpha groups or DAOs that are really interesting or that you think are.
Yeah, no, good question. Yeah, I'm in loads actually, to be honest. One that I founded is called Leaders DAO. It's a Twitter group chat. And yeah, we've got some really, really cool people in there. That's a really good one for sort of alpha and just chilled out group where we just network and chat about different topics. There's a few others ones. Robin Hood DAO is another really good one, founded by someone called President Charter, this guy. And he's got a really good vision for the future of it. What else is there? There's Wendy's DAO is good as well. It's just a chilled out sort of friendship group where you can just talk in there and get to know everyone. Let me check actually what else am I in.
Are these paying? I'm sorry, are those paying DAOs, or are those all free, or?
They're all free to be honest. I think if you can get in the right free group, you can sort of leverage the people that get more free groups, and then you can find one that works for you. which is sort of what I've done. So a few others are like Trevino DAO's one that's quite good, founded by one of my good friends. That's a really good one, so definitely look into that. The Circle's another good one as well. Power Grinders is good. Multi DAO's another good one as well, which is founded by a bear, founded by Korean Zombie. I don't know if you know him, but really good friend of mine. We trade all the time together. That's another good one. So yeah, there are quite a few. I personally prefer Twitter group chats. I'm like more active in the Twitter ones because Discord gets like quite overwhelming. Like, I've got so many. I'm probably in about at least 20 to 30 different Discord servers, and I can just never keep up with all of them. So Twitter group chats are a lot easier for me.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, you're in all these DAOs, and how do you keep up, man? Because to be honest, like for me, I have my in real life job, which is taking a lot of my time. I have my weekend job, and then I have my family and stuff. So
yeah, man, it's tough, but I think it's more of just like picking one or two that you really like and just staying really active in them. So I think if you're trying to stay active in loads of different DAOs, it can get like really overwhelming. It can use all of your time, and then you're not really utilizing your time correctly. You know, just constantly just chatting in all these different groups. I think if you pick like one or two that you really like and get to know everyone in there, it's a lot more beneficial and like, a lot better for me anyways. Like that's what I've done. You know, there's a few that I'm really active in, and others that I'll just pop in once in a while and say hi to, just simply because I can't keep up with all of them. But yeah, that's what I do really personally. I think most people do the same as well.
What was your background before like Web3? Like what kind of like brought you to it, and what do you think your specialties? I think you covered it like here and there, but can you tell me like specifically like what helped you in the Web3?
Yeah, for sure. So before Web3, when I was literally like 14, 15 years old, I used to grow like social media accounts. And through that, I learned like graphics design, content creation, video editing, and then also like marketing and different like platforms, algorithms and stuff. So like I learned all about Instagram algorithm, YouTube, how to like obviously get views, how to retain like your audience and stuff, how to do promotions and all of that. So around that time was when I started learning that. I used to grow them and sell them on for a bit of profit. And then when I was around like 16, 17, I did like e-commerce, ran a few e-commerce stores. And then one started becoming successful, and then it got closed down because I was underage. And then I did online training for a bit as well. I ran my own online training business. But the thing with that is it wasn't too scalable unless you like really like blow up your name on like TikTok and stuff like that. And I didn't really want to be like some famous fitness guru or whatever. That wasn't really for me. And like throughout this whole time as well, I've been boxing my whole life, so that obviously helped with the online training. So I did that for a little bit, built up a bit of capital from that. And then like start of last year, I started learning about crypto, just from hearing like just from word of mouth. You know, everyone talks about how crypto is like great and it's really profitable, and obviously that brought me into it. Started learning about it here and there, and then around like summer, so like June, July time last year, so about a year and a half ago, I started taking it even more seriously, got a mentor, and I met this mentor through just connections I had through like a mutual friend. And he just started mentoring me. I started doing free work in return. He was like, get into Solana NFTs. So that's where I went from there, got into Solana NFTs, and then just stuck with it really. And then obviously founded ATH, and a few other ventures of mine, founded my own community and stuff like that as well. And I think a lot of my Web2 experience sort of helped with Web3. You know, I learned how to sell stuff and build advertisements, obviously through e-commerce. And then obviously I learned how to market really well just through like the Web2 marketing side of things. You know, I ran an SMMA for a while as part of like when I used to grow Instagram accounts. I ran a social media marketing agency as well. And I used to like help influencers like market their initiatives and stuff like that. So I did that for a little bit. So I learned how to work with like clients, and just learned a lot through just the different experience I had pre Web3. And then when I got into Web3, you know, it was a whole different world, and stuck with it. I don't think I'm ever going to leave it, to be honest. Like, it's changed my life completely. You know, I've met a lot of really good friends in here. And that's sort of like my background briefly. You know, obviously there's a lot more to it, but I don't want to like just continue like rambling on and waffling about it.
Yeah, so I'm curious if it's in the works or it's in your plans to become a mod or a builder at OKB. Do you think that's what you want?
Yeah. So I know, like, definitely being in the community more and more, I've started like really enjoying my time. So yeah, I'd definitely love to be like a community community builder. Just be part of that team and just give my input where I can, because I've had loads and loads of ideas recently, and I'm friends with a lot of builders as well. It'll be a lot of fun, like just being able to express my ideas to the team and get their feedback on it. I've messaged Craze a few times with a few ideas I've had. I'm in a builder chat actually with a few builders just to explain some ideas I had. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, to be honest. Just being able to volunteer in a project that is my favourite project. So yeah, definitely would love to. I applied recently, so hopefully in the future maybe I'll get that opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. So for me, it was like trying to like get my name out there, and then I applied.
Yeah.
So like I did a few of of my podcast and stuff like that. I was kind of involved also, just being positive, but definitely if they would ask me for my opinion, I would definitely vote you in, man. Definitely.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it a lot. Yeah. I'd love to, just gain that experience, like working with you guys. Like every single builder that I've met has been really nice. I've built made good friends with the builders. And I'd love just to sort of input where I can, really help out wherever I can.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right, well, you were really generous with your time. I went over and over. I know you told me you go to bed late and stuff, but I know.
Yeah.
What time is it at your place?
It's only 1:20 here. I go to bed at like 3-4 a.m. So I'm not tired at all right now. I'm fine. I haven't even had dinner yet, so I'm not even hungry.
You're too hype, man. Too much motivation.
Yeah, well, I've been literally, my sleep schedule's so bad, man. I go to bed at 4, I wake up at like 9 or 10, and it's just because I work with a lot of people who are like international, so I have to be on calls all the time, and I've sort of just gotten used to going to bed really late now.
How do you do that, man?
I know, it's bad. Like, I get so tired in the morning, but it's just something I have to do, really.
Push through it and stuff, or do you have drink a lot of coffee?
No, I don't even drink coffee or anything. I just literally just push through it, really, because I've got goals. Like I've got some crazy goals that people probably think I'm crazy to even aim for them. Like I want to hit like 9 figures eventually. Like eventually when I'm older. Like I've got some big goals, but yeah, obviously the only way I can get to that point is by grinding. So that's what I'm gonna keep doing. Keep grinding every day, keep trying to improve every day until hopefully get to that point one day.
Yeah, is that why you use Crazy as your tag basically? Because
I wish. It was weird. Like I was back when I was trying to figure out a Twitter name. I was just looking through like random name generators, and I was doing it for like half an hour, and then eventually it came up, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll just use that, and it wasn't taken, so used that, really. And it's not really like any cool story behind it. I wish I did have a cool story, but I don't, unfortunately. But it's not my name, and I've gotten used to it now. But there were a few other names. There was Swift, that was one that I wanted to use, but eventually I just picked Craze.
Yeah. No, it's crazy, and because you said crazy at least 5 times in the podcast, so I'm like, he's trying to put his name out there,
Yeah, man, everyone go follow my Twitter, everyone go follow my, I'm joking. I'm not gonna shill myself in here, but yeah, man, it's and it was also because I was watching a YouTube video actually, and it came up. It was like, what is this NFT Craze? And I was like, oh, Craze, and then I checked it and it wasn't taken, so I was like, okay, fuck it, I'll just use that name.
Yeah, because it might seem random, but I watched the Joe Rogan podcast lately a lot, and he had the Liver King, and he said Liver King at least 20 times, and he refers to himself as Liver King. And he was like, he mentioned at one point that you have to like put your name out there, and the more you say it, the more it resonates in their head and stuff like that. So like he does it purposely,
No, it's true. It's true. Joe Rogan's podcasts are great. I love them. I watch them once in a while. I see all those like clips on YouTube and stuff of them. But no, it's true. Like one of the main things we stress to like our clients is getting on like every space you can get on and stuff like that, and just really pushing your brand out there and your name out there. People will see your name one or two times and not really take notice. If they see it 4, 5, 6 times in different group chats and stuff, that's when they start to take notice and think, okay, like I've seen this loads of times, a lot of people are talking about it, let me go have a look at it. And that's when you start sort of getting that attention and that awareness towards your project. And
one of the best example was Liberty Square, where I mean the art is debatable. It's like a squirrel. I wasn't crazy about it, but man, the founder was on Twitter Spaces every single day. He was always there, and then he got to talk with Easy It's Bodega and with Alex and stuff, and he would just like, he's a really cool guy, you know, like honestly I don't know why I didn't think that the project was gonna moon and stuff, but when it was at 0.77 I was like, it looks nice, it looks tempting, and then like even he convinced Frank, who bought like 10 of them, and then now they're at one point they were at 20, and now they're pretty solid at 10 now. But it just goes to show like if you're out there, man, people hear the founder and they believe in him, you know what I mean? And
100%. Yeah, projects need like a really strong founder, in my opinion. A lot of projects do, you know, not all projects. You know, like Solana Monkey Business is obviously an example of that. They're a community-led project, but they've got like Monk DAO that sort of run it. But there are some projects, you know, like D-Gods, they wouldn't have done anywhere near the sort of volume and success that they would have had if it weren't for Frank. And there's a few other projects as well, obviously Liberty, like them. So yeah, I think a lot of projects need that sort of central character that everyone will look to for the news. And just another one's Wab, you know, Wab, the founder of Sappy Seals on ETH. He's another really good one at that. You know, having a really strong-willed leader or founder is really important. You know, OK Bear's got it recently with Nate Rivers. He's been doing a good job. I think he went on a Twitter break for like a week or two, but besides that, he's been doing really well. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so again, thank you for giving your time. I always like ending it with who do you think should be on the next podcast? Do you have any recommendation?
Yeah, good question. I think Wake or Arj would both be really like interesting people to get on. You know, both of them have really interesting stories. So yeah, if I could recommend any, definitely one of those two. I'm not sure if Parker's come on here, but if he hasn't, Parker as well. Parker's got a really interesting story. So yeah, any of those three I'd say are good picks.
Yeah, definitely. I want to have all three of them. Arj is a really popular one, and it's the third time that someone's mentioned him, man. So I have to.
Yeah.
It's just hasn't worked out yet. Every time I ask him, he's like, "Oh, I can't," and then I can't, and whatever. It's just
yeah. I mean, he's really busy. You know, we're both really busy. I was lucky to sort of like have a free night tonight. You know, I sort of took the night off. Usually I'm on calls like throughout the day. I was on calls this morning and throughout midday, but like tonight, this is all I've got to do. And then I'm headed to call with Arj and Wake, and then head to bed. So yeah, I've had a pretty chill night, so I thought, why not give you a shout and see if I can hop on, really, because I've been listening to a few other podcasts. I really like them, and yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. Thank you. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, I love bears. Anyone in here that's listening that hasn't got a bear, like, definitely consider it. You know, it's not financial advice, but the community is great. I highly recommend it. Even just for the community alone, it's worth it. And obviously the future's looking bright as well with the IMG deal. Like, yeah, we're in a bit of a dip, but that was always going to happen with the current market conditions. You know, every project's dipping. You know, we've seen some projects literally like half in their floor price in the past like 2-3 days. So that was always going to happen. But yeah, I've loved my time in bears. I'm definitely going to continue to enjoy it, continue to meet new people. So yeah, highly recommend anyone in here who's listening who isn't in bears to come check us out.
Before we leave, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter. My Twitter's @CrazeFlips, all one word. You can find me in a few different groups as well. You know, I'm obviously the founder of ATH and Leaders DAO as well. I'm an analyst for Yord Wiki. Obviously, I'm the OK Bears Coral DAO, Alpha Hunter, and community manager. And then you can just find me in the OK Bears VCs all the time. I'm in there most nights. And come check me out, and love to get to meet you guys.
If you enjoyed the show, hit the like and the subscribe button, and use this link to watch the next episode. Peace.